Welcome to my kitchen. Small but mighty things happen in here. Today I am going to be making some delicious maple cinnamon cookies. So the first thing you have to do is I am scrolling, checking out everything. You need a cup of butter. So I took 2 sticks. It needed to be softened a little bit, so I chopped up 2 sticks. And I put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. And I use salted butter, so when I go to add some salt to my recipe, I'm not going to put in as much as it says. The next thing I need is 1.5 cups of brown sugar. So brown sugar is pretty easy. I like to keep it in a nice airtight container because brown sugar, a lot of times if you leave it out to the air, it's going to get hard and crunchy. So you don't want hard and crunchy brown sugar. And I like to leave it in the bag because then I can just scoop it in and then I can press it with my hands. So here I have 1 cup. Put that on top of your butter. And now I just need 1/2 cup. And I really like that my measuring cups have a line inside of them, so I know where the 1/2 cup mark is. So now I'm just pressing some of that brown sugar in the bag to 1/2 cup. You want to make sure it's packed down because a lot of times when you see recipes, they will say packed brown sugar, and that's what they mean. Get all the air bubbles out of it, so it's all packed in there. Next, after the brown sugar, I need 1/3 cup of maple syrup, sorry. So my maple syrup, you want to get really good maple syrup. And if you have maple syrup done locally in your area, then grab that because you want to support your local, of course. So I have my 1/3 cup of my maple syrup. Pour that on top of your butter and your brown sugar. And we need a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm using pure vanilla. So pour your teaspoon in. And I guess the maple syrup, what do I keep saying sugar? Maple syrup wasn't good enough because they want you to also use maple extract. Well, and I've made this recipe a million times, so it's all really good. It is what it is. Maple extract. Got that all in there. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit right now. Get it all mixed around. Have my initial mixing. And they're cookies, so of course you want to get them nice and smooth. And the more your butter is kind of melted, then the smoother it's going to be faster. And of course, if you have a stand mixer, then that'll be a lot easier. I don't have a stand mixer because my kitchen's fairly small. And right now, I just don't have the space for a stand mixer. And I felt like, you know, how many times do you have all these great gadgets, but then you put them away somewhere, and if they're put away, then you don't pull them out and use them like you should. So I'm hoping someday I can get a stand mixer, but for now, you know, I'm just using arm strength. My arms are getting a fabulous workout. All right, it's mixed. I can still see the butter, but I'll do more mixing later. This is basically what it looks like now. And you need only 1 egg for this recipe, so hold on tight. Of course, I always forget to get out at least one thing, sometimes a couple things. Put 1 large egg in your mixture. Now I'm just going to give that a little bit of a toss, because with the egg, it'll help get things smoothen out just a little bit more before I start putting dry ingredients. So I'm going to do a little more stirring, and I'll be back. Oh my gosh, you guys, I wish that we had smell-o-vision, because the maple is just taking up my whole kitchen. All right, we need to add, we gotta beef this stuff up, so we gotta get some flour. We need 3 cups of flour, and I'm gonna get a knife out to help level it up, because when you're baking, you want things to be pretty level. So there's one. And I'll get my other one. Can you see how I'm leveling? I just kind of put my knife up there, put the back of your knife down and scrape it off. So there's my second one. And my third one. Just scoop it in there and then level it off. Fantastic. There's 3 cups of flour. And now we need to add some baking powder. We need a teaspoon of baking powder. I like how it comes with its own little leveler in it, where you just spoon it in, and then you have this leveler here where you just smoothen out. Teaspoon baking powder and half a teaspoon of baking soda, and you kind of level it with the side of your box, nice and level. See, because the people that create these things know we need level stuff. And your salt. It says half a teaspoon of salt. I have my salt box, and I always keep half a teaspoon in there because that seems to be the general amount. But I'm gonna do a slightly less because my butter is salted. And it's said to use unsalted butter, but I always have salted butter in the house, so you use what you have and then just adjust some of your ingredients from there. And then what's gonna really make things shine is a teaspoon of cinnamon. However, I'm not gonna level this baby off because I want a heaping teaspoon of cinnamon, because I really want that spice to get in there and really flavor up my cookies. So now, as always, once you have the powdered ingredients in there, gently, emphasis on the gently, start stirring, because if you go super fast, then of course it poofs up into your face, it gets all over your kitchen. I already have a little bit of a mess, but not too bad actually for doing cookies. So keep stirring it up, get everything mixed around. You want to get a really good dough consistency. So it's going to take a little bit of stirring. Be patient, keep stirring. All right, I think I got it going pretty well. I'm gonna use my knife again and scrape off my spoon. And it makes a pretty thick dough that's hard to manage. So I'm gonna actually get in there with my hands and kind of bring it all together into a ball. You see, yeah. Get it into a ball. And then you have to put it into the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. I like to actually have it in there for an hour. I feel like it even sets up more. And while it's setting up, those flavors start blending together, even though it's sitting together. And it really will make some awesome cookies. So put it in the fridge, 30 minutes. I like an hour. And maybe sit back, have some coffee while you wait. All right, we're ready for scooping. So I did cover my dough with some plastic wrap so it wouldn't get dried out. And now I'm going to use 2 spoons and get into this dough. It's pretty hard. Actually, I'm going to use a hand. Take it into a ball and put them on my pan. Got my pan. Got maybe they're like 1-inch balls. Ungreased pan, oven, 375. Put them in for 12 minutes. And here they are, so yummy. They are like crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside. So good. And at Christmas time, I dip them in white chocolate, and then I put some like Christmassy kinds of colors on them, like the little confetti things. And or you could just drizzle some white chocolate, or they are just as good like they are right now. Crispy, chewy, maple cinnamon cookies.